Good morning, good day. Hello, everyone. To whoever may be watching, welcome. Hello. Okay. Today is Sunday, the 21st, 36th month, 2026. I am currently live streaming at this moment in time. Now today I'm posting about nothing really. Just another day in the life. Just another awaken, another morning, another night. It's currently 9:40. Right, so tonight I just wanted to make a little stream, about everything really, everything and nothing really. Alright, so tonight, today, whatever time you may be watching, perspective and relativity is always a thing. Alright, so today, if you're blind, hello. That's all I could say. I'm not too sure about time in terms of if can't see. I guess it still applies because your body gets tired either way. So yeah. So what I wanted to talk about was relativity, right? I wanted to do a week review. First things first, in my last video I said that I think I said that I would have been essentially posting about my running. I didn't end up going. Because I ended up breaking a lot of my laws this week, personal laws, and the reason why is not because of low motivation or lack of belief. Alright, so this is what this live stream is going to bring reason as to why I didn't follow my laws and why I broke my laws and why I did what I did, or I should say why I didn't do what I was meant to do. Alright, so yeah, so yeah. Alright, so I wanted to bring a little clarity into the stream, right? I want to begin with a little clarity. These laws and systems that I have made, right? These laws and systems that I have made are essentially a lot, right? Systems research, I think, yeah, this is it. Alright, so this is a lot. Alright, this is a lot. All things wrong is connected with more of itself, as with everything. All things right is connected with more of itself, as with everything, right? This is essentially what is happening to me at the moment. I am a mixture between both worlds, right and wrong, right? So I am coming out of essentially of an egg, right? I am coming out of an egg. I am essentially I was essentially investing all my time in. Alright, let me start over. Kind of, I'm not really bringing any clarity. Alright. Alright. Let's say hypothetically, repetition. When you're exercising, right? When exercising, alright. When exercising, all of us are essentially, without exercising, we'll be skinny, we'll be we wouldn't be fit. Alright, I wanna say, because we don't exercise, we don't expose our body to exercising, right? Let's say this is a hypothesis. We're just talking about strength, right? About consistency. This is our the topic is consistency here. Alright, so let's say this is not exercising, right? Anything you do, how you spend your time, it is invested not in one thing, but when you're doing one action, that one action is not really one action. That one action is actually connected with other actions. Okay? Okay. Right, so exercising versus like not exercising, both of them are essentially the same thing. Right? It doesn't matter if you exercise or not, because at the end of the day, time is still passing. So let me just say this line, these lines here represent exercising. Each line represents every path relative to exercising. One part we have how it makes your body feel, right? It makes your heart race, makes you sweat. Alright, so that's two lines already. It makes your heart race, it makes you sweat, it makes the blood pump. So each line represents something, right? That does all these things all at once. Alright? It opens your eyes, if you do running, it makes you see more of the world. Okay? If you makes you stronger over time, repetitions. Okay. Now let me say, if you never exercised like throughout your life, not exercising is not like you're not actually not doing anything, because I can't actually not do anything when you're a part of life. It is actually unless you put your body to rest, and that is the only time, and still you're still dreaming, you're still your body's still doing shit. Unless you die, that is the only time you really and it's just the body will die, you're still alive somewhere else. Right? You just like become a new form, a new part or nothing. Right? So right. Not exercising. This is not exercising here. Right? Now we see when you don't exercise all day, you came home, you say, alright, I'm not going to exercise. Alright. Now you could choose a million different things, infinite different things to do. Alright. This is reality. You could choose a million to uncountable different things to do. Okay. So I would say out of all these things you choose to, I don't know, what I do, I play games, right? When I'm not exercising or when I'm not working, I tend to play games. So I play game, right? Bam. This is the line. I play games. Okay. I don't want to put my mind in that zone of playing games. Okay. I sit down. My body is relaxed, alright? Alright, so okay, I enter the system. Alright, so my computer is on, my computer is running. Okay. So these two things here. I sit down, my body is relaxed. Alright, so my body is relaxed. Heart rate decreased. Heart rate decreased. My mind is at ease. Heart rate decreased, my mind is at ease. My muscles not really doing as much work. So bam bam bam, these three, bam bam bam. Less active. Okay. Less active. Alright. At the same time, I don't really want to do anything because my brain is actually not really a part of my body anymore. It's more a part of the game. Right, so in the game now, I would think in the game, you know, how to strategize in the game, how to line up my shots, build. So building, thinking, all of these things. But I'm not actually doing any. My body not actually doing anything now. These three lines. Building. I'm not building. The body is relaxed. The blood flow slows. I relax. You know, I don't want to do anything. Alright. So when I finish playing the games, let's say I continue down this path. Through time, through investing the time. Alright. Let's continue. I continue just getting used to my body not doing anything, right? I will want to do other things that is a part of that system, you know, that is a part of that feeling, right? Now, feelings not real. Feelings is just another line that within itself is connected to other feelings relative to itself. Right, so in every direction, okay, everything is the same, you know, like everything is the same relative to itself. It is real, it exists, and its primary functions relative to itself is normal. Okay, so in every direction everything is the same. Alright, my emotions is alive, how I feel is alive, but it's not actually you. You exist just to spectate, you know, just to spectate on your own life, and just to, we are all encompassing something, you know, essentially, all encompassing entity or somewhat entity. Okay, so I continued down the path of playing games. I skip sleep. I don't really want to sleep anymore when it's time. Alright, so I go sleeping late. Alright, you're up watching movies. Um, your body feels good. It's not that these things not a part of you anymore. These lines are still a part of you. It's just that you know, or like yes. All right, start over again. Right. Let me say I grew up playing games, or you grew up doing something. You'll get used to that, right? Right, because you invest so much time into it, so it becomes normal. The lines that you build with this activity, this action, or whatever it is, right? The lines of that is strong because that is basically ingrained within you, right? It has repetition, repetition, all right, cool. Repetition, right? It has repetition. Repetition is what makes you stand. Imagine that. Repetition is what makes us walk every day, step by step. Every time, think about when you just started riding a bike, right? Now, me personally, I remember having training wheels. Okay, I first got on a bike. I was like, shit. I had training wheels. I look like an ass. Sorry for cursing. I look like, a goof. Okay, but imagine this: words also carry repetition as well. Alright, so a goof, because it is a word that was used so many times, has built up a repetition to be a word that is aligned, right? So the word is alive, right? So the word is, let's inspect the word goof. The word goof is aligned and alive with people who, they are goofy. They are not to be taken serious. They are goofy. Okay, so that is goof, right? Right. So riding the bike now, you feel like with the training wheels, you feel like a goof. Okay, you just started. Alright, starting something, you will always feel like a goof. Because it is something. It is not a part of you. So it is essentially. Alright, so imagine like, oh boy, how become a goof. Imagine doing anything, right? You're talking to you talk to a girl or whatever. You feel like a goof because you're not used to it. Or imagine like if you're not used to going outside or wherever, you feel out of your zone because you're actually out of your zone. Alright? those lines were not built into you as yet. So you have to build up repetition to go into it. You can't just go into something and expect it to feel normal. You can't pretend. Alright? Pretending builds up another repetition. Okay? And pretending builds up a repetition. Imagine everything that you do builds up repetition. Right? The smallest, most insignificant thing that you could do builds up repetition. The smallest habits. Look, I know I just smacked my teeth. That is repetition. Walking or running, exercising, all of these things is repetition. Okay? I haven't, excuse me, I haven't broken a law, one of my laws, in about 2 weeks, or what should I say, about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. Alright, this week would have been the first time in a long time, and that is only because I don't have repetitions within it. Okay, all of these habits, all of these things that I do has more repetition than me following the law, my own laws that are set out, because I'm not used to following rules. Okay, so that is it. That is all that I really wanted to say. Alright, within myself, feelings, emotions, all these things are lines that exist within themselves. Alright, and I am essentially just time observing my own actions without intervening, essentially. Alright, so that is all. That is it, really. So, hello everyone. Alright, so that is all. Alright, I have another graph here. This is repetitions, right? He has no repetitions. Right, he probably goes to work normal. He probably has a normal job. Right, exercising probably never crossed his mind before. Right, it's not that this is a person, it's just that lines represent him. These people have repetitions in exercising. Right, so they know what they're about, right? And within themselves they are connected with other people and with things related to exercising. Okay, so I've made a graph here. Alright, so we're just starting with in fact I'll do the middle last. So emotions are alive, they are lines. What I mean by lines is relative to itself. It's just billions and billion infinite parts just correlating with itself over and over and over within itself. Right, and it is connected to this. The more you spend on certain lines, meaning emotions, place, action, and really anything, is the more you become it or them. Right, it doesn't matter what you do, everything you do is aligned. Right, then we have everything. Right, no, I said that last. Right, everything relative to itself is alive and operates on a line. Now, what I mean by this is, think about like a tree, or think about, like anything really. A dog is a dog because it is made up of lines of things within itself that says it is a dog. A dog barks, a dog do this, a dog do that. But under other like influences, or different things, the dog may within itself develop differently, or it have different behavioral patterns. If a dog grew up around like street life compared to an inside dog, the dog within itself has emotions and different things. So you could experiment on anything really, anything, because everything is everything, and within itself it never ends. Okay, within itself the lines are alive, and within the lines itself it is alive. It is where it wants and needs to be all the time, right? This is what I was saying. It is where it wants and needs to be. So everything is a complex. This whole life is a complex, right? It is no such thing as mistakes or whatever. This life operates on a line, within it. Alright. This is like what I was saying with the dog. This is what I was saying with the dog. Because nothing changes on every scale. Alright. Everything is where it wants and needs to be. This whole life is where it wants and needs to be. It has no criticizing or nothing. It is no mistakes, no words, no nothing. Alright. And then we are in the middle. Everything. Lines are everything. Relativity is everything. Lines of operation is where, and so lines on operation is everywhere, and so it is everything. An ant relative to itself is alive, and to itself it feels, and with this now, an ant relative to itself is alive, and to itself it feels like itself, normal, and everything. The whole planet is alive, and relative to itself it is alive and normal, same as everything, and everything forever. No matter what happens, it is normal and relative to itself, normal and expected. Okay, what I mean by this is that every line within itself is alive, right? When you feel an emotion, right? You become that emotion. Okay, and when you feel another emotion, you transition into that emotion. You are not a person, you are just lines. Alright? Not making sense. What shapes you is repetition, what you choose to be around. What you choose to build repetitions on. That is all what shapes you. Right? That is all it is about, just letting the lines flow while you keep doing repetitions in what is needed, doing repetitions in what makes it flow better. There's no such thing as better, because I currently operating on a line, right? Okay, so yeah, right. I think that is all I could. That is all I could. That is all I could really explain it to be. I don't think it. At this moment in time, I haven't built up any enough repetitions in my English language to really explain it and articulate the density, to deconstruct the density in a more comprehensive way. Okay. For now, all I could do is probably show you this sick Fortnite clip that I did. Alright, and I'll keep you updated. Alright, check this out. Hold on, the part coming up. So yeah, I think the repetitions within that game reveals where my time has been invested over the past couple of years. So it's just about lines and the person you become when you live on those lines. It's not that you become a new person, it's just that you are already that person. Alright? It's just about repetition. Good night, goodbye, and that is all for now. Yeah. Remember, in every direction, nothing changes, so anything is possible. Alright.